Hello dear students, how you all? As finally after discussion the structure of atom, today we will start with an extraordinary and most expected and awaited chapter referred as chemical bonding and molecular structure. Fine. So first question arises, what do you mean by chemical bond? Chemical bond in the sense you will be having a kind of force of attraction acting between ions, molecules or atoms we can consider, or it's a kind of force of attraction acting between a constituents of particularly atoms or ions or molecules is going to be referred as chemical bond. So let me define here. Very first, what do you mean by chemical bond? Chemical bond is said to be a force of attraction, is said to be a force of attraction between constituents like atoms, ions or molecules. Atoms, ions or molecules. How to represent it? It can be represented as just A. A is, it may be an atom, ion or molecule we can consider. Is going to be connected by B. It is not exactly with the help of any thread or with the help of any stick we are binding these to each other. No, it is not like that. It is just a kind of force of attraction between A and B which forms a kind of nearing of these two atoms. Initially, these two atoms are far away from each other, and due to some force of attraction, it will be coming nearer to A coming nearer to B, and they together come each other very nearer and they will retain as A and B. That kind of force of attraction between two atoms, ions or molecules is going to be said as chemical bond. Fine. So now we have defined here chemical bond. Now let us understand what type of electrons are mainly involving in chemical bond. The understanding of that part is most important. I'll let you know the things here. Whenever you consider chemical bond, generally valence electrons take part in the reaction or in bonding. Valence electrons are playing prominent role in chemical bonding. In chemical bonding. Now question arises, what do you mean by valence electrons? Say for example, if you consider sodium with an atomic number 11, how we represent 281. Okay, now let us represent these electrons in a structure. This is positively charged center. Then I have 2 electrons in first shell. Then I have second shell in which I have 8 electrons. Okay, these are the 8 electrons present, and I have lastly one more shell in which I have only the electron. This is the electron which is present at outermost shell, and this outermost shell in which we find only the electron is going to be referred as valence electron, and that shell is referred as valence shell. Now question arises, why ma'am, why not inner shells doesn't participate whereas only valence shell participate in bonding? Is mainly because you can see here this is positively charged nucleus which has a strong force of hold on inner shell electrons rather this outer shell electron. And one more thing we have to understand, in case of periodic classification we have seen trends of periodic table. Inner shell electrons are repelling, they are pulling outside these electrons, outer shell electrons. Shielding effect we have seen. That all together they were the reason why only valence electrons are going to take part in bonding. So now we supposed to understand in an introductory part that chemical bond is a kind of force of attraction between ions, atoms or molecules, or we can generally say as a constituents. Next part, if you are coming, generally valence electrons will be taking part in a chemical bond because they can be easily taken away and they can easily shared with other atom, due to which bonding is going to take place. So this is all about the introductory part. In order to understand these things in detail, many of the theories have been introduced. Each scientist have given their particular ideas for chemical bonding, why it is so, what are the things we need to understand for elements, what are the elementary state, bond angle, bond parameters, everything we will be discussing in this chapter. With this conclusion of the introduction, I would start Koselle's and Levy's approach. What exactly Koselle's and Levy's approach theory has dealt with the postulates we have to understand. Please do copy this. We'll move to the theory. Let us start with the Koselle's-Levy's approach. When you consider Koselle's-Levy's approach it is considered as a theory in which a scientist Koselle has explained some of the points regarding an atom. So according to Koselle, an atom is mainly made of two parts. The first part is, he said, it is kernel, and the second part is nothing but, he said, the valence shell in which valence electrons will be present. These two terms are explained or introduced by scientist Koselle. What he said? According to Koselle, an atom is mainly made of two parts. One part is kernel and the other part is said to be valence shell or with the valence electrons. Let us see what exactly the meaning of this kernel, valence shell or valence electrons I just explained. Now we need to understand regarding the kernel. When you consider kernel, it is said that, let me explain with the help of example. I have positively charged nucleus with a surrounded orbitals present in. Let me consider sodium itself, which is having 281. Okay, this is the electronic configuration what we write for the atomic number 11. Here we will be having 2 electrons present in the inner shell. We have 8 electrons present in the next shell. K, L, M, N, we know 2 n square shells are present according to principal quantum number. Then we have lastly 1 electron left here. According to Koselle's approach, kernel is the center or positively charged part which contains 2 and 8 electrons, that is first shell and second shell together. It is referred as a kernel. It is referred as a kernel. And we all know the outer shell with the only electron, it is referred as valence shell. Valence shell contains 1 electron. And according to him, he has given still more idea regarding the kind of atoms. Atoms having 2 electrons complete or 8 electrons complete in their octet. 2 electrons or 8 electrons having 8 electrons present in an atom are said to be more stable. Now question arises, what do you mean by 2 and 8 electrons? Let us see here. 2 electrons, if you consider, we will have an example. Hydrogen is only 1 electron. Like that, if you consider helium, it has 2 electrons. Helium with a 2 electron can be referred as duplet state. And all the duplet state atoms or all the duplet state compounds, constituents are most stable. Like that, we also have 8 electron species. When you consider 8 electron species, we can consider after helium, generally noble gas configuration or all the rare gases will be exhibiting octet complete type of the configuration. Say for example, we will be having neon. Neon with the atomic number 10, it is complete with 8 electrons. It is said to be 8 electron system in which we can consider its octet is complete. Here helium duplet is complete where in case neon octet is complete. And such compounds which have their duplet complete and octet complete are said to be most stable compounds, or very generally happy compounds in nature they exist. So according to Kosale, he explained the thing that an atom is divided into two parts. One is kernel and the other is valence electron or valence shell. Kernel is a positively charged part. Apart from this particularly valence shell, I write here, kernel is nothing but inner positively charged part or inner shells. I can say nucleus, including nucleus, plus all inner shells other than valence shell, is referred as kernel. It was given by scientist Kosale, and he has explained one more term, that atoms or the species having 2 electrons or 8 electrons are said to be most stable in their configuration, or they are most stable molecules. So these all are the points explained by the Kosales. And with the help of this one, scientist Lewis has given us how does these valence electrons should be represented. That representation which was given by Lewis is generally till today considered as Lewis dot structure representation for elements or any atom, ion and so on. So once we complete this one, let us start with Lewis approach. Please do copy this. We'll move to Lewis approach. Let's get started with next part. Before I start with the Lewis dot structure or Lewis octet rule, I must tell you one more point. According to helium, if you consider with the atomic number 2 and 4, this we all know. Like that, we have neon with 10 and 20 here. Okay. Here, in case of helium, I must have a positively charged nucleus with 2 electrons are present. Only 2 electrons are present. In this case, you would ask me which one is referred as kernel. Only the positively charged nucleus part which is present here is going to be referred as kernel. You can see here in which neon octet is complete. This is positively charged nucleus. I have 2 electrons here and surrounded by 8 electrons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 electrons. In this case, the positively charged nucleus along with the first shell is going to be referred as kernel. And this is going to be referred as valence shell. In this case, this is referred as valence shell. So like this explanation of kernel will be given by, it has been given by scientist Kosale. Next thing was explained by scientist Lewis. Lewis explained things with respect to octet rule. Let us understand what do you mean by octet rule, why does it called so, everything with an example. So for example, in order to understand the octet rule, let me consider sodium itself, and we will be writing it as electronic configuration 281, in which inner shell has 2 electrons, outer shell has 8 electrons. Okay, and here we have 8 electrons and I have one more shell present over, which is considered as outer shell. Let me draw it neatly. 2, 8, 1. I have 1 electron present over here. So according to Kosale, he said that the species containing 2 electrons or species containing 8 electrons in their molecular form or atomic form are considered to be a most stable one. You can count here. In the inner shell I have 2 electrons, in the second shell I have 8 electrons, in the last shell I have only the electron. It means octet is not complete because after 281 I have one electron left and it is deficient with the 7 electrons to complete 8 number. Let me have one more example, Cl. Cl generally we write 287 and it is inner shell with 2 electrons and we know this second shell with 8 electrons, 287 it is 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 and in the last shell you can see here I have 7 electrons, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and it is referred as 7. If you look after the Cl and sodium metal, 1 electron is present in its outer shell and 7 electrons are present in its outer shell or valence shell. In this case, these two atoms can combine each other. Chemical bonding is nothing but a kind of force of attraction obtained due to pairing of the electrons or donating the electrons or accepting the electrons. Sharing can be done, complete donation can be done or complete acceptance of electrons can be done to form the octet and to become a stable configuration. In this case, you can see here just by losing one electron, this will be considered as Na plus metal. It will be considered as Na plus. It loses one electron. The electron which was lost by sodium can be accepted by Cl and the size of this atom quite bigger than that of the previous one and size of this one quite smaller than that of the previous one and it accepts or it completes its octet. That 8 number has been gained due to acceptance of electron and the charge on this one will become Cl minus and altogether these are said to be a kind of chemical bonding has taken place by losing one electron and by accepting one electron from the chlorine and given by the one electron is given by sodium metal. And once such octet, that is this number has been occupied by any species in the molecular form or in the atomic form or in the ionic form, all those are considered to be a stable configuration compounds. And this statement or the octet concept was given by Lewis. And he has also explained regarding the dot structure, Lewis dot structure for the elements. How we supposed to represent the elements. Every time we cannot go on writing this structure, we cannot write all these dots while making the chemical bonding. According to the explanation given by Koszaley-Lewis approach, only valence electrons are taking part in the bonding purposes. The same, Lewis has done a wonderful work that the elements are going to be represented by only with the valence electrons, and numbering or putting the valence electrons with the symbols itself is going to be referred as Lewis dot structure. Let me show you one by one. Let us start with Lewis dot structure. Let me show you very few examples and we will move to the next part. So when you consider Lewis, I must use capital, Lewis dot structure. When you consider Lewis dot structure, very simple, we start from hydrogen. It is going to be represented by H. It is not necessary that H must be, this dot must be written here only. It can be written here or here and so on. According to your feasibility of the bonding, we can write wherever we want this dot. So this is the Lewis dot structure we can write for hydrogen. And we have helium. Helium is as that of 2 electrons. Once we write hydrogen helium, we will have lithium here because it is 1 electron. This is 2 electron. Now the question arises, it is with 3. Now we have 2 and 1 type of electronic representation. When this is the case, lithium will be given only the dot as that of the hydrogen. Hydrogen, helium, lithium, we have beryllium, we have boron, carbon, nitrogen, oxygen, fluorine, and so on. Here for lithium I have written 2 and 1. For beryllium I must write 2 and 2. For boron I must write 2 and 3. For carbon 2 and 4. These are the representation of electronic configuration. As you are in higher grades, in 10th standard generally each and everything you used to write. But now actual representation we have to understand in this way, which makes the things easier further. 2, 4, and here I have 2, 5, I have 2, 6. That is totally 8 electrons are going to be present, and 2, 7 electrons will be present here. And whatever the 2 which are coming here are said to be inner shells. These are said to be inner shells. And the rest of the electrons what are present here are going to be considered as valence electrons. They are most important for writing the Lewis dot structure. So when you consider 2 and 1, only the dot will be coming here. For Lewis structure, you want to write for beryllium, you supposed to check out it is like this. It is as same as that of helium. And here for boron, you are going to represent 3 electrons. And for carbon, you are going to represent with 4 electrons. And for nitrogen, you are going to represent with 5 electrons. And you can see here for oxygen, you are going to represent with 6 electrons. And for fluorine, you are going to represent it with 7 electrons. 5, 6, 7. So this is this type of representation of elements with their valence electron, which mainly take part in chemical bonding, is done in this way. And this explanation was clearly given by Lewis scientist and the named as Lewis dot structures. So these are said to be Lewis dot structure for certain elements. With the help of this one, we would write, this is single atoms I have considered. We will be able to write Lewis dot structures for molecules also. Let us understand all those things one by one. Please do copy this. We'll move to the next. Yes, in order to obtain a stable configuration, generally 3 ways or 3 possibilities can be followed. I told you the bond or the chemical bond can be formed mainly by transferring the electrons, transferring of electrons. Okay, that is completed transfer. It is been completely given to next atom, and then by accepting the electrons, by accepting, once it is transferred, it can be accepted, accepting the electrons, or third by sharing of the electrons, or by sharing of electrons. So once you can see here, transferring electrons or by accepting electrons or just by sharing of the electrons can form a stable chemical bond. Based on these 3 criteria I have written, we have mainly 3 possibilities of chemical bond. They are referred as bonds. They are referred as bonds. I will explain each and everything by considering the examples. In order to understand the octet, there are mainly 3 possibilities. So what are those 3 possibilities? We'll understand here one by one. Okay, say for example, very first, as I told you, sodium example itself. Sodium is going to lose 1 electron. It is going to lose 1 electron and it will become Na plus. Means it has completely given 1 electron. It has given 1 electron. Like that, I must tell you, here I have Cl with deficient with 1 electron, which is going to accept the lost electron. It has lost 1 electron. What it will do? It will be accepting that electron, and what will be the charge? It is Cl minus. And together it is going to form NaCl bond. So such type of bond wherein we can see Na has lost electron, Cl has gained electron simultaneously. That bond is going to be referred as ionic bond. That bond is going to be referred as ionic bond. And these ionic bonds generally going to be referred as electrovalent bonds. Electrovalent bonds. So this is one type of representation. That is sharing completely, that accepting and donating of the electrons. The second part we will be learning here. Okay, then let us understand sharing of the electrons. When you consider sharing of the electrons, just don't get confused with that part. I explain each and everything with the examples here. In this case, at least you just remember that sodium has lost electron and it has become smaller in size, whereas Cl has accepted one electron. It is becoming bit larger in size and it forms NaCl. Now, second one, if you consider hydrogen, we all know hydrogen has only the electron. Similarly, let me consider second hydrogen. And this hydrogen shares one electron. This also shares one electron, in which you should remember both the electrons are under control of both the hydrogen atoms. Such type of bonding is referred as covalent bond. Such type of sharing of electron can be seen in case of covalent bond. So this is said to be a example for covalent bond. That is second type. Here this bond is referred as covalent bond formation has taken place. And then we have third type of representation, in which complete transfer of the electrons. It is not sharing or it is not accepting and giving. It is complete transfer of electrons takes place. You can see here, for example, I have A. A has 2 electrons with it, but B doesn't have any electron, but still it wants in relationship with A. That time what happens? A will completely transfer its electrons to B. Then A-B bonding takes place. Yet complete transfer of electron is taking place, but still the bond is formed here. The electrons will be under control of both A and B. Such type of complete transfer of electrons to the next atom is going to be referred as coordinate bond. It is going to be referred as coordinate bond. Example, NH3. NH3 has one lone pair of electrons. So this lone pair of electrons will be donated to H plus, and finally it will become NH4 plus. It itself will be undergoing positively charged. Nitrogen will be having positive charge on it. So with this example, we can understand this type of bond is referred as coordinate bond, whereas sharing of electrons takes place, it is referred as covalent bond, in which here in this case both donating as well as accepting the electrons takes place simultaneously to form electrovalent bond. Electrovalent bond is commonly going to be referred as ionic bond. Now we have to understand in detail regarding these. As I told you, NH4 plus is obtained here. By just seeing this simple example, we have concluded that the nitrogen has possessed positive charge. But if at all it is given in this fashion, let me write in this way. See here, NH4, okay, plus 1 is given. Okay, NH4 plus 1. The same I have written here. If the molecule is being given like this, that is the charge is on whole molecule. When the charge is given on a whole molecule, we need to understand whether we need to put this positive charge on nitrogen or we need to put on a hydrogen atom. It is bit confusion. In order to understand the complete bonding or complete charging, that is the charge of each constituents of this molecule, including hydrogen and nitrogen, we have to calculate. Calculating the charge on each atom of this NH4 is going to be referred as calculation of formal charge. So we need to understand calculation of formal charge. It is most important. Please do copy this. We'll move to that. Okay. Before I get started with a formal charge, we need to understand regarding how we supposed to write the Lewis dot structure for molecules. So far we have seen representation of only the atom with its valence electrons. Now if an atom get combines with another to form a molecule, then how we supposed to represent the Lewis dot structure for that molecule, we have to understand. I have given certain examples here. For example, let me consider H2. I have already shown you. H2 will be showing H and H, they combine each other, they will form a covalent bond. Similarly, Cl2 with a valence electron 7, Cl 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and it is 7. One more Cl we have here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And after combining each other, how we supposed to represent it, you should be clearly understand here. For hydrogen purpose, these two electrons are under the control of this hydrogen. That means it asks for one electron, and similarly this hydrogen will also have both electrons under its control. You can see here this is with a 7 electron system and it is also with a 7 electron system. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. If it gets one electron from Cl, it will become like this. Understood? Like that, this Cl will also have control on this electron to obtain the octet. You can see here initially it is with a 7 electron, now it is complete with the octet 2, 8, 8. Similarly, you can consider this also. Now it is also becoming 2, 8, 8. Whereas this is said to be duplet form. It is existing in duplet, whereas all these Cl2 molecule is existing in octet. And similarly here Cl bonding takes place. This is said to be a covalent bond formation has taken place. Like that, let me consider H2O, oxygen. We all know oxygen having 6 valence electrons. Okay. Now each hydrogen has one electron with it. By accepting one electron from the hydrogen, from the oxygen, this hydrogen has become duplet. Similarly, by accepting one electron, this hydrogen has become duplet. Now you can see here there are 6 electrons are present and there are 2 electrons are needed to obtain the octet for oxygen. So for oxygen atom, all these electrons are mandatory to obtain the octet. Like this, you can see here H2O bonding will be done like this, wherein 4 lone pair are written as it is. Similarly, I have next CCl4, carbon tetrachloride. We all know carbon has 4 valence electrons and each Cl with a 7 electrons. Okay, this is the last electron. Here I have written electron. This is Cl with 1 electron. Okay, similarly Cl with 1 electron. Just complete the valence electrons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is 7th electron. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is 7th electron. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is 7th electron. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now you can check that carbon having 4 valence electrons will be sharing its electrons with rest of the 4 Cl. Then what happens is, see, these 2 electrons will be under control of this carbon. Similarly these 2, similarly these 2, similarly these 2. So that octet is completed with respect to carbon atom. And you check out for this chlorine. Chlorine having each 7 valence electrons. 2, 4, 6. This is 7th electron. It gets bind with the electron of carbon. Carbon gives its electrons to chlorine. It will become octet complete. Let me show the structure. If you consider particularly this is Cl, this will be the bond formation. Similarly, like this. Okay, like this. And like this. Now question arises, what about this carbon atom? Carbon atom also needs 8 electrons to complete its octet. See how to show that one. 2 electrons from here, 2 electrons from here, 2 here and 2 from here. And totally it will form CCl4 bonding. Like this, structure of carbon tetrachloride can be written. Then you can check here that C2H6. How to represent the C2H6 we have to understand. When you consider C2H6 molecule, we need to consider 2 carbon atoms. Let us write valence electrons. There are 4 valence electrons present in carbon, and we have 6 hydrogen atoms, each with 1 valence electron or 1 electron. This is also hydrogen. Okay, hydrogen. Here I have hydrogen. Here I have hydrogen. Now all the hydrogen, we all know they are stable at duplet. They are stable at duplet. Now what about this carbon? Carbon definitely needs 8 electrons to complete its octet. There are 2 electrons here and rest of the 6 electrons are here, so that it can be written like this. This will be the Lewis dot structure for the first carbon. Count for this carbon atom: 2, 4, 6, 8. It means we need these electrons to complete the octet. Fine. So C2H6 molecule, C2H6 molecule will be written like this. Now writing this type of structure are going to be referred as Lewis dot structure for molecules in which 2 atoms are involved. Similarly, you can consider C2H2. When you consider C2H2, again the thing is I have to make use of 2 carbon atoms. Fine. When we are making use of 2 carbon atoms, we are supposed to write the valence electrons. We all know there are 4 valence electrons are present on carbon atom. Okay. So these are the 4 valence electrons. How many hydrogen are there? 2 hydrogen. So 1 hydrogen each have 1 electron. This is 1 electron. It means bonding is taking place. Fine. In hydrogen will become stable at its duplet. Here also it is duplet. Now count the number of carbon atoms for number of electrons for this carbon. There are 3 plus 3, 6, 7 and 8 with respect to this carbon atom. So here it will be written like this. Fine. And with respect to this carbon atom, we have to count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. In the sense, we need to write the Lewis dot structure in this fashion. You can see here 3 electrons are donated from each carbon atom to form the bond. In this case, carbon possesses 3 bonds between carbon and carbon, and this is hydrogen. This is how we write Lewis dot structure for C2H2. These are the very simple molecules. What I given here are generally asked for your board examination. For your competitive examination, like NO2, CO2, like HNO3 and so on, involving more than 2 types of atoms are going to be asked for the Lewis dot structure. And writing the Lewis dot structure generally asks for 2 marks. So do concentrate and write properly. We'll move to the next. Okay, just now we have seen how we supposed to write the Lewis dot structure for molecules. Similarly, I have written here carbon dioxide, carbonate, nitric acid, ozone, beryllium hydride, AlCl3, NO2 and HCFO4. You need to try for writing the Lewis dot structure for these molecules. Generally, such questions can be asked for your competitive examinations. And on this, definitely you are going to obtain 4 marks. Please do practice these. These are said to be most important. So once we complete writing the Lewis dot structure, we need to understand next part. So, as we have discussed regarding the octet rule and duplet state or duplet rule given by Koszaley-Levy's approach, in which a species must have 2 electrons, it is stable. A species which is having 8 electrons is also stable. But the thing is, some of the unexpected species existence has been seen here without a duplet or without a octet, but still their molecules are existed with a stable configuration or most maximum stability. So in what that exception was seen, particularly these examples couldn't explained by the Levy's. So we'll see them one by one. So when you consider particularly XeF4 and XeF6, xenon being a noble gas with its octet complete, it still reacts with fluorine and it reacts with F6 and F4. It will form octet complete xenon can form XeF4 and XeF6 complexes. Why does that formation is taken place? If the thing is, once the octet is complete, they are most stable. They neither want to donate the electrons nor they accept the electrons. But the thing is exactly opposite in case of xenon compounds. XeF4 is existed with the most stability as well XeF6 exists with the most stability. Why does it so? Couldn't be explained by the Levy's. Similarly, we have BH3, boron trihydride, BH3. Can you see here how many electrons are present? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That means here we can say this example is for incomplete octet. This can be referred as incomplete octet. Yet there is an incomplete octet is present, but still this molecule is existed with a good stability. It is existed in a nature as that of the normal octet complexes. See, next we have PF5 and SF6. You can see here phosphorus has 5 fluorine groups. That is, there are F. Okay, F, you can see how many bonds are involved. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 5 F are present in the sense there are mainly 10 electrons are present. More than the octet. More electrons present than octet. Or we could also tell expanded octet. Expanded octet. So the question arises, why it is so? When we ask for the Levy's, why it is so that expanded octet compounds are also existed with a good stability. There is no any kind of instability seen all these complexes. But these are neither following duplet nor they are following octet, but still they are happily existed with a good stability. You can see here NO2 also. Nitrogen, we all know, having 5 lone pair electrons. Okay, and we have 2 oxygen atoms with 6 electrons present in it. Here also 6 electrons are present in it. Here nitrogen has formed a double bond. Okay, it is good. Then you can see here this nitrogen is completely donating its electrons to the oxygen to become the octet. Once it is donated, you can see here that sharing is not possible because nitrogen at the maximum will form 3 bonds. And once it is donating its electrons to the oxygen, there is only 1 electron is remaining in it. Such type of compounds are called as odd electron species. Odd electron species. So for all these kind of exceptions with these molecules, but still they are existed with a good stability, couldn't be explained with the help of Levy's. So all these are considered to be a limitations. We have drawn back. These are considered as drawbacks for or limitations for Levy's approach. I'm sorry, I must write capital L. These are said to be limitations for Levy's approach. In 1 or the 2 marks, limitations for Levy's approach can also be asked. So Levy's couldn't give a kind of good explanation for these all exceptions we have seen. So the Levy's approach has been given up. It has been given. Or further, we will have to have a next theories which are mainly based on the formal charge. As I already told you, let us begin with the importance of formal charge. Please do copy this. We'll move to the next. Okay, coming back to the formal charge. So let us start with a formal charge. Before we start with a formal charge calculation, let me give you certain information regarding this one. See here, I have taken two examples, CO2 minus and NH4 plus. When you consider such molecules, charge is written as minus and NH4 charge is written as plus. Now the question arises whether this charge which is written on a whole molecule belongs to whether it belongs to carbon or it belongs to oxygen. We have to understand here. Charge is on a whole molecule. Charge is on a whole molecule. We can't say that this negative charge or this positive charge belongs to carbon or positive charge belongs to nitrogen, or we cannot say this positive charge belongs to hydrogen or it belongs to nitrogen. We can't say because it is in total given. It's given on a molecule. We need charge on individual atom. So we need to calculate charge on individual atom. Charge on individual atom. So when you consider particularly charge on individual atom, we have to break up this whole molecule given, and then we need to calculate the charge on individual atom. The minimum charge or particularly individual atom possessing their own kind of charge is going to be calculated with the help of point formal charge. And formal charge can be calculated by using this simple formula. So I'll explain this formula first and we will consider examples that makes us still more confident in order to check out or to calculate the formal charge for given molecule. So let us understand that. So have you all understood what you mean by formal charge? The charge present on individual atom can be calculated and that is going to be referred as formal charge. So now formal charge referred as C. Total number of electrons. This is the formula you need to by heart. This is the formula to calculate the formal charge. You have to by heart it. What is that? Formal charge is nothing but very first total number of electrons present on atom. Present on atom in the sense which atom of in a molecule of which atom we need a charge. That atoms particularly total number of electrons we have to count. Then minus number of electrons as a lone pair. Lone pair completely we cannot consider. Number of electrons present as a lone pair we have to consider. Then minus 2. Then number of shared electrons we have to consider. Now I have an example here, carbon dioxide. So let us start with carbon dioxide. So when you consider carbon dioxide, let me write the structure here. Carbon having double bond with one oxygen. Similarly, carbon has double bond with another oxygen atom. We all know there are 4 electrons are present. And once it is completed, it is going to be left with 2 pair of electrons. Its double bond is its valency is satisfied now. When you consider this CO2 particularly, now I want the charge on carbon atom. It indicates if you want to calculate charge on carbon, now we supposed to consider carbon as an atom for this formula. Now you can see here total number of valence electrons. I must mention here total number of valence electrons present on carbon. I'm sorry, I forgot to write valence. It is total number of valence electrons present on an atom, of which we need to calculate formal charge. Here, total number of valence electrons for carbon atom, how many? There are 4. We all know there are 4 valence electrons are present. Like that, then minus number of electrons as a lone pair. A number of electrons as a lone pair. Here, all the 4 electrons which are present with carbon atom are involved in bonding. It means there is no lone pair left. So, lone pair 0 minus I need to consider half. Then you can see here number of shared electrons. That is, shared electrons of carbon, if you consider, there are totally 2 plus 2 plus 2 and plus 2. Totally 8 electrons are shared. Why ma'am? Why not 4? You can ask me. Because these 2 electrons belongs to carbon as well as oxygen. Similarly, these 2 electrons belongs to oxygen as well as carbon also. In that case, generally we prefer number of shared electrons as 2, 4, 6 and 8. Now, 2, 4. 4 minus 4, it is 0. It indicates that there is no charge on carbon atom. Carbon atom doesn't possess any charge. Similarly, let us consider this first oxygen atom and charge on second oxygen atom. Fine. So when you consider this oxygen, first oxygen atom, okay. So number of valence electrons, that is total number of valence electrons on this oxygen atom 6 minus. We need to consider number of electrons as lone pair. There are 4 lone pair are left, minus half into. We need to consider number of shared electrons. How many electrons are shared by this oxygen? There are 4. So 4, 2, 2. Okay, 4 minus 2, that is minus 6. Here also there is no charge on this oxygen atom. Understanding? So now just check out this one. It is as same as that of this itself. That is O1 is equal to oxygen 2. Both oxygen 1 and both oxygen 2 are same. Then oxygen 2 also doesn't possesses any charge. So in total, if you sum up this, and this is 0, 0, 0, if you sum up, you are going to get totally 0 itself. In the sense, this carbon dioxide doesn't possesses any charge on it, and it is neutral linear molecule. So like this, we need to calculate the formal charge. Now please to copy this. We'll move to next example. Okay, dear students, now let us consider this example, CO3 2 minus. When you consider CO3 2 minus, I have written here structure like this. One of the oxygen will be doubly bonded. At the maximum, carbon can share 4 electrons. We all know that carbon with 4 electrons, it can only share 4 electrons. If at all it is sharing 2 electrons to one oxygen atom, then rest of the 2 electrons are going to be shared by the other oxygen atom. Here double bond comes, here it is single bond, and like that I have written here structure. Okay, so now let us consider calculation for the formal charge. So very first we'll begin with calculation of formal charge on first oxygen atom. So when you consider first oxygen atom here, I'll write O1. So when you consider first oxygen atom, you can see here total number of valence electrons present. So there are 6 valence electrons are present with first oxygen atom. Then number of electrons as a lone pair. So how many lone pair of electrons are present, that we need to know. So there are 6 lone pair are present. 6 electrons are as a lone pair, that is 3 lone pair, 6 electrons. 6 electrons are considered as 3 lone pair. Here I have written number of electrons as a lone pair we have to consider. Then I have half. half into what I have, number of shared electrons. So there are only 2 shared electrons are present, isn't it? 1, 2. These 2 are shared in oxygen. So 2, 2 goes, okay, 6, 6 goes, totally minus 1 remains. So first oxygen atom will have charge minus 1. You can check for second oxygen atom, this one. When you consider second oxygen atom, you can see there are total number of valence electrons are 6 minus what need to consider, number of electrons as a lone pair. There are 4 electrons are present as a lone pair, minus half into number of shared electrons. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 shared electrons are present. 2, 1, 2, 2. You can see here that 6 minus 2, 2 goes 6, totally minus 5. Again, this oxygen atom, this one will be having, just check out here, total number of valence electrons with respect to second oxygen atom, it is 6. Then we need to consider number of electrons as a lone pair. There are 4 lone pair are present. 4 I have taken, minus half into number of shared electrons, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, it's correct. Now you can see 2, 2, this is 3, 6 minus 4 minus 3. Oh, sorry, 2. So totally 0. The oxygen 2 possesses no charge on it. Like that, we need to consider for third oxygen atom. Can you see that third oxygen atom is as the same as that of first oxygen? So oxygen 1 equal to oxygen 2, and finally we can say that there will be a minus charge. So both these two oxygen atom possessing minus charge, whereas this oxygen doesn't possesses any charge. Let us consider this carbon now. When you consider carbon, there are, so for carbon, how many total number of valence electrons? 4. Okay, minus number of valence electrons as a lone pair, 0, minus half. Now we need to know number of shared electrons. We can check out here. Okay, 2, 4, 6, 8. There are 8 electrons are shared. 2 ones are, 2 fours are, 4 minus 4, it is 0. That means carbon doesn't possesses any charge. So the structure for this molecule, I could write CO minus, and this is O minus, here it is double bond O. And definitely such questions can be asked for your examination, for board as well as competitive. At the maximum, these two examples just now we have got written or done are important. One more, O3, ozone molecule, is also most important. Either of the three, one can be definitely asked for your examination. Just do copy this, try ozone on your own, and I'll also do that one, but just pause the video, try for ozone. Now let's try for ozone, O3. So when you consider structure for this ozone, it will be like this. There are 6 valence electrons. There are 6 valence electrons on this oxygen and this oxygen. Here this middle oxygen is completely transferring its electrons. It is forming a dative bond. It is completely transferring its 2 electrons to the oxygen atom. Let us consider this as the first oxygen atom. Here it is datively bonded. While forming, okay dear students, let us come back to the ozone molecule, in which we supposed to calculate the formal charge on the oxygen atoms. There are mainly 3 oxygen atoms are present, and I have written O3 like this. This can also be written, previously I have shown you, this can also be written, this double bond can be written this side also, because ozone exists in a resonance structure, that is, it is considered to be a resonance hybrid. So when you particularly consider for the oxygen 1, I have numbered here, this is first oxygen, this is second oxygen, this is third oxygen atom. When you want to calculate the charge on the first oxygen atom, you need to know that is oxygen 1 Total number of valence electrons you can consider. There are generally 6 electrons will be present on all the 3 oxygen atoms as a valence electrons. So here for this valence electron is 6 I have taken. So now number of electrons as a lone pair. There are 4 electrons are acting as a lone pair. So 6 minus 4 minus half as per the formula. Then number of shared electrons. So with respect to this one, 1, 2, 3, 4. These are 4 shared electrons are present. 6 minus 6. 2 2s are 4 goes, and minus 6 it will be. 2 1s are 2, 4. Then minus 6, 6 minus 6 is 0. On this oxygen atom there is no charge. So it is totally 0. Let us consider for the second oxygen atom. Here I must have told you regarding this 2 electrons. These 2 electrons are completely donated to the third oxygen atom to form the dative bond. Just see here, for oxygen atom 2, we know that there are 6 valence electrons are present. Total number of valence electrons are 6. And it is same for all the 3 oxygen atoms. Number of electrons as a lone pair they are asking here. There are 2 lone pair of electrons are present. So we will be considering minus 2. Then minus half. Number of shared electrons they are telling here. These are completely shared. These are completely donated. So 2 plus 2, 4. So we do not consider these shared electrons. Donated electrons. They will be not calculated. They are just given. They are given off. They are not shared. They are completely donated. So we do not consider those two. Only 2 plus 2, 4 plus 2 electrons, totally 6 electrons of this second oxygen atom are considered as shared electrons. So I must have to write here what? 6. So number of shared electrons with respect to this one are 6. 2 plus 2 plus 2, there are 6 electrons. Now just 2 into 3, 6 minus 5. 3 into 1, 3, 3 minus 3, minus 2, minus 5. So on this oxygen atom, charge is plus 1. On this oxygen atom, we may get charge on as plus 1. By just looking this molecule, we do not consider any charge or we do not see any charge. But you just cut open the molecule, you can see plus charge on the oxygen atom too. Like that, I have third oxygen atom. You can consider this one, number of valence electrons 6, and here number of electrons as a lone pair. There are 6 electrons are acting as a lone pair. 6 minus half. Number of shared electrons. There are only 2 electrons are shared. They have given. It means 2 electrons are taken here to form the covalent bond. Then this oxygen taken 2 electrons. Only those 2 electrons are considered for this oxygen atom but not for this oxygen atom. From this oxygen they are completely given. It has taken, they are acting as a shared because it is present through dative bond. So we will be considering minus 2. 6 minus of 2. Half into 2 if you consider, it will be 2 goes. 6 minus 6 goes, minus 1 charge comes. So if you add all the charges, then charge on total molecule has to come. With respect to this ozone, there is no charge present on it. So that 0 plus 1 plus minus 1 plus 1 minus 1 goes, totally 0. So the molecule having neutral charge. Plus 1 minus 1 goes. But if you just cut open the molecule, this there will be a minus charge on this one. I have written here. And for second oxygen atom, there will be a plus 1 charge. This is minus 1 charge. This is plus 1 charge. It will be seen just by cut open this molecule. But in total, if you see, after adding all the charges, there is 0 on whole molecule. So like this, we need to calculate the formal charge on given examples. Please do copy this. Okay, now let us do this example, NH4 plus. So when you consider NH4 plus, let us write the structure first. So there are 2 electrons as a lone pair, 5 electrons as a lone pair, and there are 4 hydrogen atoms are present. Okay, so each hydrogen gives 1 electron, right? Similarly, the last, that is 4th hydrogen atom which is present here, will be donated completely by nitrogen through a dative bond. So this is how we will be considering the structure. So this is NH4 and whole charge is +1. We need to understand this +1 charge is present on which atom of this NH4 plus. So let us start with a calculation. Let us start calculating formal charge on nitrogen atom. When you consider nitrogen atom, total number of valence electrons are 5. Okay, minus number of electrons as a lone pair. There is no lone pair at all present because it is completely donated. Minus half into number of shared electrons. Number of shared electrons, these are given completely donated. 2, 4, 6. So there are 6 electrons we can consider as shared electrons. These are also given, so we will be considering as 8. Okay, when you consider this one, 5 minus 5, okay, 2 4s are 4 1s are 4. Okay, no, I'm sorry, this is minus 4. 5 minus 4, it is +1. So nitrogen possesses +1 charge. So 2 4 6, these are donated 8 electrons. Now let us understand regarding the hydrogen, how to calculate the formal charge on hydrogen atom. So when you consider hydrogen, total number of valence electron, it is 1. Okay, only the electron is present. Minus number of electrons as a lone pair, 0, minus half. So number of shared electrons, 2. We will be considering as 2. 2 goes, 1 minus 1, this is 0. And this hydrogen 1, hydrogen 2, hydrogen 1, hydrogen 2, hydrogen 3 and hydrogen 4. All the 4 hydrogen atoms are present in the same environment. And all the 4 hydrogen atoms definitely possesses 0 charge. There is no charge. Only the atom which is present in the central part of this one possesses +1 charge. And it will be written as NH4 plus. So we could write here NH, okay, this is H, this is H. Positive charge will be on the nitrogen atom. See, this is how we will be writing the structure. With the help of this formal charge, we can definitely calculate individual charge present on individual atom. As well, whatever the charge which is written on a molecule will be concluded on which atom that overall charge is given is present, that also be calculated. So these are the few examples I have given. Like this, you can go through many of the examples. By using just this formula, we can calculate formal charge present on any of the individual atom of a molecule. So this is all about formal charge.